Clery, she's the program director of the 100% Design South Africa, to tell us more about the event. Cathy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This really is a showcase of the best designs globally.
Absolutely. We have a combination of both South African and international design, and we've got some really phenomenal design, some great new design coming from Italy. Padova have done a 100% hotel. We've set up a hotel lobby in the show, and Generation from Hyde Park have done that. Yeah. It's absolutely beautiful, beautiful stand. We've got lots of features on South African design, 100 beautiful things being one of them. So I chose 100 beautiful objects, all made in South Africa in 2015.
You know, when you're talking about 100 things that's been designed in South Africa, I do think that we as the public, as the ordinary layman in the street, we do have a kind of maybe dulled down perception of just how well our designers are doing globally. And this is really a showcase of the best, isn't it? It's
a showcase of the best, but our designers are doing phenomenally well overseas. And most of the designers on our show are actually exporting already to high-end shops. I think our market is, we're not mass production and we're not very high-end luxury. We fit into the artisanal scale of very well-crafted design. And there's a big scope for that at the moment, and people are very hungry for design that has a provenance and a meaning, and people are relating to well-crafted design, which we have plenty of.
Cathy, last year you launched this in Cape Town. It's now in Johannesburg this year. What is so idyllic about Johannesburg as a design showcase, as a hotspot?
Well, Johannesburg is where the money is at, but it's also a phenomenal place for a lot of Africa to come and shop. And we do get visitors from Ghana, Nigeria, Angola, Namibia, and where there's a lot of development. So a lot of our architects and interior designers are already working in those countries, and our design obviously has a resonance with those countries. So we're doing actually very well, and I think there is a lot of our younger designers aspire to be in Europe or America, but actually the market for them is in Africa.
It's interesting that you're talking about Africa, because in a couple of weeks you go to Mali,
and
yes. You're traveling all over the African continent, and you're getting to talk to different designers from completely different backgrounds. Yes. What is that design dialogue at the moment? Does Africa understand its design power, for lack of a better description?
Unfortunately not. I think our designers have to be made big names overseas until they get recognized on their own soil. And I think there's a lack of definition between what is craft and what is design. Yeah. And design is really a considered process of creating an object as opposed to crafting an object. And I find our designers around the continent really struggle to get recognized in their own country, and also struggle with a lot of issues, selling their work on the internet or anything like that. So there are big logistical problems with travel and with exporting from one country to the other in Africa. So they face huge problems. But organisations like Design Network Africa, which I'm part of, really are beginning to showcase African design around the world. Our designers recently had a show in New York to huge acclaim. So I think there's just this energy and vibrancy in African design that people are really craving, and there's huge opportunities for our designers.
I want to touch on the markets, but I just want to, there's something you mentioned, and I think as somebody who doesn't completely understand your industry, the difference between, or why is the lines blurred between design and craft?
I think in people's perception it is. And our design actually in South Africa does cross both. Yeah. But design as a definition is really something which has gone through a considered process where people have thought about how an object is going to be used, how they can improve on the design, how people will react to it. There's a lot of design on our show which actually touches people's heartstrings, and some of that does come from a crafted background. But crafters are taught traditional methods, and designers push those traditional methods into another realm.
You talked about African designers not really understanding the power of the African design. And you also talked about this growing market. just what is the appetite for design at the moment on the African continent from a consumer perspective?
I think it's growing. I think it's growing as our middle classes are growing, and as Africa gets more and more wealthy. I do find that people actually have an inherent understanding of it. They're just not taught to understand it. So people generally react to things they love. But they're too afraid to express themselves as to why they might love them. So I think there's huge opportunities for design around and design consciousness, design thinking. But I mean, it's not just all about pretty products. We have something on our show that, you know, is a life-saving little fire alarm device called a Lukami. So that's where design improves people's lives. Everything we touch is designed one way or another, for good or bad. Often we notice the bad, and recently a friend said to me, good design is not noticeable, bad design is very noticeable. So I think design that works really, really well is something actually that you respond to immediately.
Okay, so that is Cathy Clery. She's the program director of the 100% Design South Africa, which is currently taking place alongside Decorex at Gallagher Estate in Johannesburg, and it's an absolute must-see. I'm going to venture out and say it's not only just for design enthusiasts, it's for families, it's for moms, it's for dads who want to have design ideas. Maybe some of these things you can bring into your own home. Am I right, Cathy?
Yes, absolutely.
So go and check it out. It's 100% Design South Africa. Go and check it out. Let us know what you think. Morning live at sabc.co.za.